A while back, I did a video on a World War II recovery truck, the Dragon Wagon. Well, now we have the opportunity to look at the modern equivalent, the HEMTT Wrecker. So, Sergeant Pena, is this thing as well equipped to do everything you can think of as we hope it is?
Absolutely. It's equipped with everything that we can do out here in NTC.
And this is your primary recovery vehicle right now?
Roger, yes it is.
Right, so it's wheeled vehicles, other trucks, OSVs, the 113s,
Right.
This will do it all?
Yes, it can pretty much do anything within its limitations.
So recovery, repair, and okay. So we're looking at it, you have the setup in its lifting configuration.
Yes.
With two rigger legs, and I have to assume it makes changing the back wheels very easy if you have to.
Yeah, it makes maintenance for the rear of the truck a lot easier.
Are there times that you'll be using a crane that you don't even bother with the outriggers, or is it just standard procedure?
That's standard for safety reasons and to stabilize the truck as we utilize the crane to get the outriggers out to build a solid platform for the truck to be stable.
So how much weight will the crane take?
The crane can lift safely a max of 14,000 pounds.
So 7 ton? If you have an OSV that requires a kind of like an uplift as well as a side, can you use the crane for that, or do you have to find something else?
We would have to use another piece of equipment for that.
So we have, obviously your various tools are going to be stored back here. These controls are for the riggers?
Yes, so we have controls on both sides of the truck. This side is able to control the riggers for both sides. The majority of the controls for the truck are on the passenger side.
Okay. I see here though you have remote control hookup.
Yes.
What do you do by remote?
So that's for us to have the ability to safely hook up a control box and stand away from the vehicle while we're doing recovery operations. So that way we have clear visibility on all sides of the truck. So that way nobody gets hurt or anything gets damaged.
And you're also clear if there's a snapped cable or something.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's like threat number 1 is cable tension.
Yes.
All right, spotlights. Just the one, or I mean, how much light do you sometimes need? Oh, you got another one.
So we have
here.
spotlights all around the truck. We got spotlights on this side, we got spotlights on this side, and we have additional lights to provide all the light needed out there in the box if we need it.
So I look at an M984, I see you got this big, huge winch right front and center, then you got your auxiliary winch.
Yes.
Winches here?
Yes, we have our main winch here in the back of the truck as well. If you want, we can drop it down so we can set it up.
We might have a look at that a little bit later.
Okay.
And you call this a stinger?
Yes, this is our stinger system.
Like a scorpion stinger sort of thing?
Kind of,
yeah.
If you look at it like that.
So what do you do with this then?
So we utilize our stinger system, a part of the truck, in order to lift vehicles from the front or to the rear. So when it comes to recovery operations, we have to tow a truck out or a piece of equipment out. We're able to utilize the stinger system to pick up that vehicle off the ground so we can safely tow.
So you don't have to worry about the steering or anything, it's just on the back wheels?
Yes.
And when you were towing an OSV, will you use this as well, or do you use an A-frame? Or?
No, we don't use this when we're towing the OSV. We'll flatline tow it with the tow bar.
Okay. What else do you have around here?
So we got this. These are the other controls to pretty much.
Oh yeah, quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, so the majority of the controls to utilize all the equipment in the back of the truck will be located here. With these controls, we can control the riggers for both sides, control the crane, and control the winch.
So what sort of things would you use the crane for versus the winch?
We would use the crane for mainly lifting assets if we're doing maintenance operations to lift engines or lifting heavier items that we can't use our soldiers for. We can also use our crane as an anchor point depending on the recovery that we're doing. That's what we'd be using our cranes for.
So if you had to replace a torsion bar, let's say on an OSV, would you lift up one side of the OSV with the crane, or would you use something else?
Yes, we would. We'd be able to do that.
What sort of challenges have you come across that this thing can't deal with?
In terms of what?
I don't know. Have you ever gone up with something, Dan, I wish this wrecker had this capability or this feature? No.
So what we use the wreckers for, and then with my experience with the HEMTT Wreckers, I've yet to come across an event to where I can't do something with the HEMTT Wrecker. It's pretty capable with the outriggers out and the crane being utilized properly. You can do a lot of lifting with it.
Where do you sleep on it?
Usually sleep in the cab of the truck, but during long missions, if we have to sleep, we can set up a cot across the boxes in the back, the toolboxes in the back, and we can sleep across as well.
I see your spare wheel is up. I guess you need the crane to get the
No,
spare
so
wheel up?
the spare wheel is controlled by a hydraulic system that it can come down.
Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah, there's a control, like you can use the control and it comes down by itself and you can raise it up by itself.
So would you use this would a contact team be driving one of these ever, or is this really, once a contact team gets out, they say, yeah, we need a HEMTT?
Yeah, so usually the contact team will go out before the wrecker does. If the wrecker is needed, then the contact team will come back, so that way both the contact team and the wrecker can go out as a team.
So it's a crew of two?
Yes.
All right, so that's where you get your 4-man team then. Is
Yeah.
you get a 2-man contact team and your wrecker team.
Yeah.
And the crew of this, would they be wheel mechanics, track mechanics, or would you mix it?
It's a mixture of both. We can have track mechanics and wheel mechanics. We prefer to use the wheel mechanics due to the platform, but with our environment here and the way our unit is set up, we utilize both, so that way we can cross-train on all the platforms that we have.
Yeah. So if you're a track mechanic, do track mechanics get trained in HEMTT operation at AIT, or is this one of the things that you do here at the unit?
It's one of those things where we get hands-on training once we arrive to the unit. So track mechanics will cross-train on wheel mechanic stuff, and vice versa. The wheel mechanics will cross-train on the track mechanic stuff, and that's all experience that we gain out here at the motor pool.
Is that something that happens usually at other bases, that they'll cross-train like that?
Yes, depending on the unit and what their setup is, the majority of the time the various 91 series MOSs do cross-train with one another.
What other features do you have on the truck that you like to show off?
Let me see. That's pretty much it, to be honest, because everything for the truck is in the back.
So I see a second winch here. So your main, okay, so here's your main winch?
Yeah, so
that goes all the way to the back?
Yeah, we have a front winch cable, but it's mainly used to self-recover the truck itself.
Oh, I see. Oh, it comes out here.
Yeah, the front winch is not rated for a lot of weight, so it's hardly ever used for that reason. But
you ever gotten the truck stuck?
No.
Is it a comfortable ride?
With this truck, it is, because it has the airbag suspension, so it's a very comfortable ride. So it's kind of like riding in a Cadillac once we're out there in the terrain.
How long does it take to PMCS one of those versus a track vehicle?
So a proper PMCS, when done correctly on a HEMTT Wrecker, it easily can take about an hour to an hour and a half when you utilize all the systems and the mechanics are checking every piece of equipment on each side.
I mean, I'm assuming you have a ridiculous amount of lubrication points for all of the
Yes.
all of the cranes and riggers and everything else. The cables themselves, do they have a service life, or
What was that?
the cables, the actual winch cables, do they have a service life or anything?
Not that I'm tracking. They don't have a service life.
No.
We usually, when we PMCS the equipment, and part of the PMCS is pulling our cables out and inspecting the cables for fraying or kinks, and if we do observe that, we replace the cable at that time.
Do you have to grease the cable ever?
We do grease the cable, but depending on the environment, we utilize oil.
Yeah.
Because if we use grease, the grease will just cake up the dirt and just make it difficult for it to be used in a future operation.
How far can that crane reach? I mean, how close or how precise do you need to navigate a wheeled vehicle to get to whatever it is you're getting to?
We can utilize the crane to get a vehicle within about 15 to 20 feet safely, to utilize the crane in a safe manner. Anything farther than that, it becomes unsafe, and then we minimize the lifting capability of the crane.
So when a rotation is ongoing, are you normally staged out in the box, or are you staged here and you go out as required?
As we conduct our rotation during operations, we are set up out there in the box. Typically, we have our recovery crew manned with the UMCP, our unit maintenance control point, and we work alongside one another. So in the case that a recovery mission comes down and they have to tow that down piece of equipment to the UMCP, they can go out where we're located and bring the equipment back to us.
Do you do a rotating shift schedule? Let's say 3 days out and then 3 days back at the motor pool, or how do you work it out?
We do have teams that go out, so we have 3 teams currently right now. So if we notice a team that's constantly going out, we'll get that team back to rest, and then we'll swap the teams out. So they're constantly going 24 hours. So that way we do not overwork our recovery team.
Do you have a sort of a mechanic of the rotation award?
Yes, we do. We started that last summer to recognize our maintainers of the month. We have a maintainer of the month award going on, and then we also capture the best maintainer for rotations. So we try to recognize our mechanics as much as possible due to the hard work that they do put in that's often overlooked. So I'm trying to bring in that recognition to our mechanics to give them that motivation to strive to work better and to progress within their career.
So what gets you that? Is it the motivation and the aggression, or is it, oh, they came up with a really, really good recovery solution that other people didn't think of? What are your criteria?
So the criteria to get these maintainers recognized is not only to capture what they do at work, but it's also to capture what they do outside of work. If they're volunteering or what they're doing to contribute back to the local community here at Fort Irwin. Because a lot of our mechanics here, they have the opportunity to go to school. So the maintainers, not only are they working, but they're also doing schooling as well to get their degrees outside of the military. So overall total concept of the award is to capture a maintainer that is doing above and beyond what they typically are doing and what they can contribute to the team. So overall motivating their peers, their superiors, motivating the people they work with, and just sharing knowledge, technical knowledge, because we do have quite a variety of equipment here. So sharing that knowledge and motivating everybody to just work alongside and create that positive environment here, is we capture that soldier every month, and then we get them recognized with an award.
Do you have mechanics that they just like tinkering per se, that they have their project car at home that they like to do, or is it more the case of, no, I'm done with my wrench today?
We do have our fair share of mechanics that continue to do mechanics outside of work. I myself included. I do have project trucks and project cars outside of the mechanic or outside of the Army. We do have other maintainers that do have projects as well. They have anywhere between like hot rods or dune buggies or import cars that they use for drifting.
Okay, well, that brings us to a close of our tour of the work of the Eagle Horse maintainers. Sergeant Pena, thank you very much for showing us around. I greatly appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. It was my pleasure.
It's clean. It's clean.